I apologize for being late, and I do absolutely respect your time. While we're at home in Newark, usually, I have children who help me start the meeting, and today I have a very special guest. You guys say maybe please why I was a little bit late. My nieces are here from North Carolina, so come on, help me start the meeting. This is Isabella Zer and Sasha Zer. This meeting of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Deputy Clerk, can you please call roll?
Yes, Madam President. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Present.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Present.
Freeholder Jones.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Seabold.
Here.
Freeholder Toro.
Present.
And Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Okay, please stand to salute our flag. I'm going to ask Freeholder Jones to please lead us in the salute. And please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is indeed in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Yes, Madam President. There are two. June 21st, 2017 and July 6th, 2017, both conference board meetings.
Okay. Holders, do you have any questions or comments regarding the transcripts? Do you have a motion and a second to approve the transcripts? Moved by Freeholder Seabold, second by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Seabold. Freeholder Toro. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any topics of discussion?
There are none.
Okay. So now we're going to move to public comment session. And before we move there, I do want to just say that we're going to be moving up resolutions 31 and 32. Okay. And then also resolution 24, of course, at the request of the administration. But yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna do that. But I just want to tell the public first what's happening because it will be listed. And yes, ma'am. Okay. So what we're gonna do is before we go to public comment session, we're gonna see us move up these resolutions. Okay. And then but before all of that, we're also going to have members of Irvington Town Council speak. And even before that, Freeholder Levy Jones was here. Freeholder Wayne Richardson is a district freeholder and unfortunately was unable to be here tonight. However, Freeholder Levy Jones is an at-large freeholder and, as you know, resides in the great city of Irvington. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Queen Levy Jones.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's an honor to be back home, and there are many familiar faces that I've seen over the years. So if you're here with us this evening, we welcome you in the township of Irvington. Tonight, the mayor was not able to make it. I don't know for what reason, but I did ask the council president, Mr. David Long, would he come and speak to our visitors and residents of the township of Irvington. And of course, we have two other council people, Dr. Hudley, October Hudley, and we have Charmaine Fellow. So if they're possible, would you please come and bring some greetings to our students here tonight. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. For our transcripts.
I usually speak loud enough.
You do.
my voice is kind of heavy, and Rufus knows and Councilwoman Jones knows. But you know, I'm glad that you all are here as part of your rotating meetings. And I would just like to also thank you guys for Stuyvesant Avenue, Lyons Avenue, and the things that you're doing for the Township of Irvington, because I know it had to come by you guys, so I appreciate that. And I'm just glad that you're here in the Township of Irvington. I want to get more of our people to come out and see you, and see what you actually do. And the mayor, I did speak to him earlier, and he has previous engagements, which is more than one. He's busy, and I'm sure that you all know what Irvington is doing now, how great we are becoming. And again, we appreciate you all coming, and enjoy your stay for these couple of hours, and have a nice time.
Thank you so much. Councilwoman Dr. October Hunter.
Good evening. My name is Councilwoman at Large Dr. October Huntley, and I would like to welcome the freeholders to our township. And I'm so elated that we were able to host this meeting tonight right here. I would like to also thank you on behalf of the Honorable Mayor Tony Voss and the Town Council for all the wonderful support that you have given our township. Our Irvington Park looks so beautiful. The children are enjoying it. The families enjoy fishing and the basketball courts. I mean, they are having such a good time in the park. I would also like to thank you on behalf of the handicapped, the way you actually renovated the sidewalks. You actually made them handicap accessible, which is very important, where our residents are able to move to and fro different places. And I would also like to thank you for the infrastructure, how you updated the bridge over there on Lyons Avenue. And I just want to say thank you, and we will appreciate your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Once again, the name is Sharonette Frederick, Councilwoman at Large from the Township of Irvington. It's an honor to welcome you all to the Township of Irvington. So far, we heard all the amazing things that we've been collaborating with the county to make great things happen in the Township of Irvington. All I have to say, let's continue to do those work together, because who's going to be happy from that is our residents. So our residents really seeing all the great things that's happening. I'm grateful for our representative and the freeholder board. Not only we have one, we have our queen as well to help us and remember that we have a voice. Once again, thank you and welcome all to the Township of Irvington.
Thank you so much. And I want you to know what you already know, and that is that you have excellent representation for Irvington. And Freeholder Jones, again, although she is a phenomenal representative for all of the county of Essex, she knows that this is home, and Irvington is her heart. So I wanted to say that about my colleague, and thank all of the elected officials for being here tonight, for welcoming us, and for all of the hard work that you do, and making our collaboration in the community for the betterment of citizens very easy. Okay, so we're going to open up public comment session. If there's anyone here tonight wishing to comment on any agenda items only, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. And we do have, again, we're going to be moving up the resolutions 31, which is, please come forward. Yes, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Monitored by the clock to my right. And, you know, we will be taking action on that tonight. You have to speak.
Yes, I have to. Okay, we'll do it. Good evening. I'm very thrilled tonight. What's happening? My name is Mama Meow. Excuse me, Charlotte Gala. I do have a Mama Meow Kit Kats in Irvington that I just got a nonprofit. That's why I'm so excited about what you are doing tonight. Tonight is a history moment, and I don't know how to thank each and every one of you to take that bold step for the county to say, we're going to make a positive change for the quality of life for our working community cats. If you remember your history in Egypt, I'm going to do this really quick because I have to get, my minute will be up. They destroyed all the cats. The rulers decided we don't need these sort of nuisances around. let's destroy them. And what happened? You remember the history? I'll remind you. Rats came. Nice rats. They were happy. They said, oh, the cats ain't here. The rats will be here. Unfortunately, they brought the Black Plague. And they started to bite and kill people. And guess who brought the cats back? Not the Ghostbusters, but the cats. You look at the history in Italy, Greece, cats are very important. Like them or not. Then go to Muhammad. Muhammad is the Muslim that was almost bitten by a poisonous snake. Guess who saved him? A cat. And he declared, any Muslim that ever hurts a cat will burn in hell. That's what he said. He told us in history. People don't realize this. They say, I don't understand. Yes, go to Turkey. Cats are all over the place because cats are very, I gave you a booklet. The purring can heal your bones. Cats are very, very smart. You know, people go, oh no, a dog is smarter than a cat. No way. You study the intelligence of a cat. A cat is extremely intelligent. But I'm going to get this, just say this. Tonight, I'm going to say to you, as Joe DiVincenzo, our leader, would say in all the languages, muchas gracias, muito obrigado, efaristo, merci beaucoup, dziękuję. And in English, thank you guys for taking that bold step to make this resolution. And I want to thank you, President, for being a sponsor, and my queen, Levy Jones, that wants to make a change for our community, working cats, and making the quality of life better. Thank you again. And I always end my conversations as Mama Meow. I'm on the streets in Irvington, and they know, Mama Meow, they always go, meow. So I have to end it that way. Thank you for your time and effort. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. Just state your name and affiliation for the record, and then you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay. My name is Susan Aranio. I'm a resident of Irvington. I've known Mama Meow for many years. She's got a heart of gold, but I'm also an animal lover, and I'm not so much a lover of rats. And when I first moved into Irvington, I'd look out my window and I'd see a lot of the rats running in the street. I actually have a picture of one of my cats that I TNR'd. Trap neuter release is trapping. They sterilize the cat, vaccinate the cat, and then we release them back into their neighborhoods. Saves the county money because it's less than euthanizing, and it's also a more humane way. Me and my neighbor, and some help from People for Animals. I have some from Hillside that are here. Hopefully they'll speak on our behalf. In the past year, I've TNR'd 22 cats. And I just want you to know, it really does work. I had no kittens this summer, which is a big deal because every summer, you know, there's 6 kittens and, you know, and they grow up. So this kind of nips it in the bud. I do have a picture of the one carrying a dead rat in broad daylight. So as far as, you know, helping the rat population be diminished, the cats do that. I've had no complaints from neighbors, only one. But my efforts go, I mean, what I've done with 22, what happens is there's more. I need this to be kind of like citywide, countywide, so that we get more cats TNR'd, less kittens, and eventually it works. I mean, there's people who, I know Bloomfield this year, they just started in Bloomfield. You get people from Kearney, they unfortunately could not. In the folder is a letter from the mayor of Kearney after 3 years, and he's stating that the program works. That's it. I just wanted to add that in because really I think the people who know the most about this are the people for animals. Hopefully maybe Jane or Val can talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dennis Percher. I'm a resident of Maplewood and head of the South Mountain Conservancy, which I've been a part of since 2002. I'm speaking to Resolution 13, which is the Deer Management Program, and I'm all in support of this resolution to continue deer management in South Mountain Reservation, which is a beloved regional park. I mean, it attracts people, and we take for granted the forest canopy, but that still is in jeopardy even after all these years. Last year, there were 2 days of afternoons of hunting. They had 48 deer taken out. This year, they realized that the spotlight count indicates that 150 deer, 159 deer will be here over the winter, and a density well exceeding the 20 for a healthy forest, and much more at 50, much more than you can have for a damaged forest, which is what we have. A study was just made by Dr. Michael Van Cleef indicating that there is improved health, but the little plants he's seeing are only less than a foot tall. We've got to have a sustained reduction in the deer over several years, because deer will multiply so that in 3 years they'll double again. This is an ongoing effort, and we approve of Dan Vernier's report. We appreciate the Parks Department and Joe D. Supporting this and having 5 days this year, because without this, a resource that is beloved will basically go by the wayside and will not be available for our children. So thank you very much. We're in favor of the recommendation, and I hope you are too.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on agenda items only?
Hello, Freeholders.
Hello.
Glad to see you all here tonight in Irvington, which is right next to us. We have our clinic in Hillside. My name is Jane Guillaume. I'm the Executive Director at People for Animals. We have been working for the past 5 to 7 years on promoting humane public policy as concerns cats that are unowned in our communities. This is a long-standing issue. So we've worked with just to mention a few in Essex County, and I'm hoping I'm getting my counties right. South Orange, Maplewood, and Bloomfield all have recently enacted TNR ordinances. We are sponsoring those ordinances in those towns. We also sponsor Hillside's ordinance. They're Union County, though, so. I just wanted to thank you all for having an open mind about public policy being humane as well as effective. TNR is very effective. We have used it in a number of different counties. Over 150 townships in New Jersey have already enacted humane feral cat policies or do TNR in some form or another, whether it's official by ordinance or informally. It is the wave of the future. So I thank you for being so forward-thinking and enacting this at a county level. As you may know, Camden County and Gloucester County in South Jersey recently both enacted TNR resolutions at the county level. So PFA was instrumental in working with Gloucester County. Cumberland County is also considering it. So I am available to all of you, any of you that may have questions regarding how does it work exactly. If I can be of any assistance as you consider this, I'm more than happy to do that. But thank you so much for being forward-thinking and for being willing to consider humane public policy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on agenda items only?
Good evening. I'm Teresa Trapp with the Hilltop Conservancy. I'm here to speak also on item number 13, like Dennis Bircher was.
Can you speak up a little? You can take the microphone.
I'll probably drop it. Teresa Trapp of the Hilltop Conservancy. I'm here to speak on item number 13, just like Dennis Bircher was, about the county continuing the deer management program at Hilltop Reservation as well as South Mountain Conservancy, South Mountain Reservation. Our conservancy fully supports the continued deer management program. It's an investment in, as Dennis said, the forests as well as the ecosystems out there. The number that ecologists agree of deer that should be in Hilltop Reservation is 10. So far, the county has removed almost 600. So there's a big difference between what there should be and what there is. So the county is looking to extend probably about 20% more, another hunting afternoon in the Hilltop Reservation, and focus on removing more deer so we can get closer to that number that's more in balance with the ecosystem. The freeholders already know this, I believe, but with the community-based deer management permit and program that the county operates under with the DEP, the dressed venison is donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. So far, Essex County has donated over 19 tons of venison to the Community Food Bank. That is, I don't know how many thousands and hundreds of thousands of meals, but it's put to good use. And another thing that is made possible by this is the Conservancy's restoration work that we do for other wildlife in the reservation. I did hand out a picture of what we've been able to accomplish so far. I don't know if you have it in front of you or not. It's a grassland or meadow restoration, and this is something we started in 2008, and it's just coming to fruition now because of the reduced deer numbers. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do this. And visitors love looking at it. It's pretty, but it's really more about wildlife, and it's able to support pollinators, lots of small animals and predators as well, now that the deer aren't so overpopulated and eating everything out on site, which is what they were doing for a while. So I just wanted to continue our support of the program and thank the freeholders for continuing to sponsor the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public?
Yes. Edward Doe, citizen. In reference to trees, in Weequahic Park we have in excess of over 1,000 trees. The majority of them are more than 100 years old. They have been neglected by the county for the last 30 years. They are falling. We can't wait till somebody get killed with them. These are big trees. Through you, Madam President, this concern about the trees in Weequahic Park are historical trees. We have trees that's 150 years old in our park, planted by earlier citizens of this county. We asked you to please, through you, Madam Chairman, to inspect and give us a report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wazoo. To the administration, we will follow up with that question, and you'll receive a response in the mail within 7 days. And we'll be requesting that as well as per normal. Thank you.
Pat Gillerin. I'm from Bloomfield, and I'm a colony caregiver. Prior to Bloomfield passing trap, neuter, and release, my husband and I had trapped, neutered, vaccinated, and gotten 10 cats adopted. Now that Bloomfield has TNR, I have a little help. People for Animals came and helped me trap 7 adults and now 3 kittens. If you flip it over, you'll see my the cat house that's on my porch. And now the cats won't be able to procreate. So we'll have less cats. It's a really good solution, and there are a lot of people out there who will do this and support the cats as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Williams, president of the newly formed Weequahic Park Playground Association. I'm here today to see if you guys have any plans to work on the Elizabeth Avenue Playground, because there are some real safety issues that I've noticed. The park is widely used by people from all over the neighborhood, and that's just basically why I'm here.
Thank you so much. And we'll respond to you within 7 days in writing, okay? Medina's going to take your information.
Thank you.
Okay? Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda items only?
Can you hear me? My name is Linda Natoli. I'd like to speak for the welfare of the cat colonies. Feral cats are a valuable resource, but they need to be vaccinated, neutered, and managed. Cats are the natural predators of rodents. Many of the towns are overrun by mice and rats. If the state, the counties, and the towns had appropriated funds to the feral cat colonies up front, the towns would not now have to spend money putting harmful rodenticides down in the communities. The ecological solution to the rodent problem is supporting the cat colonies. A current issue of the Irvington Herald has an entire page that is devoted to rats and how Irvington is being overrun by them. One pair of rats can have 1,500 offspring in 1 year. If the cats eat the baby rats, they'll never grow up to be reproducing adult rats. It is the responsibility of the state, the counties, and the towns to take care of the welfare of their community cats. It isn't fair to have the responsibility fall on individual citizens. Many of them are elderly and have spent their last penny taking care of stray cats. We need a state law to protect the colony feeders. We need an Essex County food bank, and we need an Essex County cat shelter, possibly a Turtleback Zoo, so the tame cats can be adopted and feral cats can be put to use by any organization that needs rodent control. Cats need to be managed and not murdered. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Cat Rescue. I'm here to stand up for the TNR ordinance for Essex County. You have people who are losing their homes, individuals who go out and do this on their own, use their own money, and I think it's time for the city, state, county to step up and help these people, you know, TNR. It's not people don't spay and neuter the cats, they let them out. I'm late being here because I stopped to feed some cats, they were starving. And I don't think this is how God intended it to be. These are his creatures. We need help. I have friends who do this on a daily basis. People are, you know, their marriages are falling apart because their passion is to helping these cats. And I don't think it's our responsibility. I think we need help from the state to give us money, grant money. As a 501c3, we could get grants, and it wouldn't cost these cities a dime. I live in East Orange. I've been to many city council meetings, and no one wants to care about the cats. And it's not the cats' fault, it's humans that don't spay and neuter and release them, and this is why we got all the cats on the street. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public wishing to comment?
Good evening, Douglas Freeman, Southport Chair. Coming to you about Lyons Avenue and Parkview Terrace. We have a concern in this corridor. We spoke to the South Ward SID, which is a special improvement district, and there's actually an issue with the sidewalk on Lyons Avenue and Parkview Terrace. The city is saying that it's the county's property, and the county is saying it's the city's property to repair the sidewalk. The citizens cannot cross this particular or walk across this particular corridor of the sidewalk. And through you, Madam President, we want to see who's responsible for repairing the sidewalk. Is it the county or is it the city? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll respond in writing within 7 days. Are there any members of the public? Okay, hearing none. Closing public. Coming forward? Is it about the cats? We got you on your resolution if it is, but all right, come on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything at all?
Program proposal. It's
Speak up in the mic and state your name and affiliation for the record, and that's okay.
My name is Tabitha Reese, and my program proposal is for the Dear Jersey Empowerment Tour. That's actually, you don't want to separate those. I didn't know it was going to be so many, so I only did 3. But I'll just go ahead and do a brief overview and let you guys kind of take a look at it. But the Dear Jersey Empowerment Tour, what it is a music program that is built to infiltrate change through music. And what we do is we take at-risk youth and we give them an opportunity for self-expression. The goal is to kind of just take their energy and refocus it from going out and maybe being somebody that may have an issue with mental health and committing suicide or homicide or what have you, and to kind of give them a healthy lane to rechannel that energy. Our goal is to work with not physically limited, so we work within the handicap and the differently abled, and we also work within the regular, unlimited individuals. So I kind of gave you guys a overview so that you can take a look and get back to us to see if you would be interested in partaking.
Thank you so much. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? All right, hearing none, closing public comment session, and thank you very much for all those who spoke. If you had direct questions, we will respond to you within writing within 7 days. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolution on introduction and first reading?
There are none.
Okay, do we have any ordinances or resolution on second reading and public hearing for listening purposes only?
There are none.
Do we have any ordinances, resolution on second reading and public hearing tonight?
Yes, there's one. Ordinance number 0-2017-00007, refunding bond ordinance providing for the refunding of certain general obligation refunding bonds of the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriation $17,500,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $17,500,000 bonds or notes of the county for financing the cost thereof.
Mr. Jackson.
Actually, Madam President, nothing to add from our last discussion on this item.
Okay. Freeholders, Mr. Polavecchio? Okay. Freeholders? All right. Okay. I'm now opening public hearing for ordinance 2017-00007. Is there, if anyone would like to come before to comment for or against this ordinance, please come forward now. Okay. Hearing none. Freeholders. Still no questions? We have discussed this thoroughly. Mr. Polavecchio?
No, this was discussed in length at a prior meeting on introduction.
Okay. Hearing nothing else, do I have a motion and a second to close public hearing on ordinance of 2017-00007?
I'll move it.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to move to the different resolutions. We're going to move up resolution number 31. All resolutions will be read into the record at a later time for the entire agenda, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President.
Okay, so resolution 31. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? A trap and neuter resolution supporting spay, trap, neuter, spay and release
Madam President.
for cats. Yes, Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to commend all the folks that came here to speak before us on Resolution 31. Best of luck, and we hope that we can support you to continue what you do here in Essex County. I would like to request from you, Madam President, and Freeholder Jones, if I could be added as a sponsor to this resolution.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Freeholder Sebo.
I'd like to add also, perhaps we could do it by acclamation.
Freeholders, can I get a verbal confirmation for acclamation?
Yes.
Okay. So we will be doing it by acclamation. Bob Barker would be very proud. Nobody remembers him? Remember to spade and neuter your cats, right? See? He's like the trap and release hero. Come on, guys. Price is right. Get with it.
So moved.
Okay. You're welcome, Mama Meow. Thank you for your advocacy. And yeah, let's move up resolution 24. Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam President. This is another one of our county executives' improvements to one of our great parks, this time Verona Park. Playground improvements excuse me, it's a 120-day agreement and an amount not to exceed $1,384,505. Various improvements in the playground area. The vendor, APS Contracting, is here this evening. Vlatko Stoichevsky is here as the project manager to answer your questions.
Thank you very much. Actually, my name is Dan Carmolt, and I'm general counsel for APS, and I'm here because President of APS, Svetozar Savreski, couldn't attend tonight. Also here,
Vlatko Stoichevsky, project manager.
Just to tell you a little bit about APS, we've been around as a general construction company for about 19 years now. Currently, we're working on the Essex County Sheriff's Office. We're on time with that project and haven't had significant issues with that. We're looking forward to working on this playground for the county as well.
Okay. Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
All right. Freeholders? Yes. That was the hand. Freeholder Luciano?
Thank you, Madam President. As the freeholder that presides over Verona, just was questioning, when would you be starting the work? Or that could be for the administration or the project manager?
Plan is for us to start September 5th.
Okay. And the completion date or around that time is?
120 days.
120 days.
Near
Fantastic. Well, just to let you gentlemen know, you have big shoes to fill. We have one of the greatest park systems in New Jersey, and all of our playgrounds are really taking an upswing. I mean, you just drive through and you see, you know, the different playgrounds that we've added in the themes and, you know, the spray parks. So please do the best you can. Make sure that it's on time and definitely under budget, hopefully. And I appreciate you being here tonight. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Johnson?
Out of your workforce, how many Essex County residents are you have on the job?
Currently, APS has 3 Essex County residents.
And how many people you have on your staff that's going to be working this project?
Well, right now we have different job sites. The one that we are working for Newark, for Essex County, we have about 8 people average, sometimes less than this work.
How many minorities do you have?
3.
Just 3?
I'll also mention I'm a resident of Mount Hood, so.
Well, we just, us as a board just passed a resolution not too long ago in reference to our minority participation in these projects. And I think we should forward a copy to them so that they can see it and they can help us to reach our goals and the things we're trying to accomplish as a board.
It was for minorities, women, and veterans. Do you know the number of women that you have?
Are you, this question
Like-
about labor on site? Or
Yes.
employee office?
Labor on the site,
Well, we haven't started yet, so we're going to have
projection.
to, I would say 2.
Okay. Veterans. I just want to be balanced with our approach.
Veterans, we'll do our best. We don't have anybody right now, but we will provide.
Thank you. Okay. Freeholders? All right. We're going to take action on this later this evening in a collective vote. Thank you. Please list it for action later this evening. Let's move up resolution number 32, in which I know Freeholder Seabolt will want remarks on. Madam Clerk, please read that one.
Resolution number 32, resolution condemning President Trump's reactions to the violent protests in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Okay, Freeholder Seabolt.
Thank you very much. I was outraged by President Trump's remarks over the violent protests in Charlottesville, Virginia. His failure to speak against the white nationalists, neo-Nazis, and Ku Klux Klan members utterly appalled me. I asked the Freeholder office to prepare a resolution, which I submitted. Freeholder Brendan Gill also presented a similar resolution. I asked if Freeholder Gill would approve a joint resolution. He agreed, and our attorney, Michael Parlavecchio, prepared an excellent final resolution, which we are voting on tonight. We must speak against bigotry and racism. We must speak out. We must not remain silent. Thank you.
All right, freeholders. Freeholder Johnson.
I would like to be added to that resolution.
Freeholders. Freeholder Jones. Freeholder.
I would like to be added, Madam President, but I know people are appalled, but I was raised where in this racist society that it exists during my time and generation since the 1400s. So when he spoke and when he ran for president, he has not changed. He was saying it then, make America great again. And for me and people of color, we knew exactly what he was saying. So if he had said anything differently, then I would be surprised. But I would like to be added on to that particular resolution or to encourage the people to vote in recognition that we all support. Thank you.
Freeholders. Freeholder
Yeah,
Toro.
I make the request that there could be that information as well.
Absolutely. Freeholders. Okay. We did something similar. I believe it was 2015 maybe, where there was the controversy and the debate about taking down the Confederate flag, also known as the rebel flag. And I shared this story before, and you've heard me say it many times. It's unfortunate that the story that I'm about to say again was not believable to some people, even just a few years ago. My mother, a white woman, a Caucasian woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, took her to African American children to protest the Ku Klux Klan, and I was in the 3rd grade. And it was probably one of the best lessons that she ever could have given me on how to stand up for what's right and to see the unfortunate opposing views and those who support hatred, and to show us that we could stand up against it and show love instead. And she helped organize it by accident. She just got the phone book and started calling churches and organizations saying, hey, listen, we need to show up there. There's the Klan marching through. There needs to be more people there against hate, and more people that are for love than there are of them. And it was really wonderful that she was able to do that and show me that at such a young age. And just a few years ago, people would say, are you sure? You're a young woman. The Ku Klux Klan? Now see. They're here, and we have got to constantly stand up against their hate. And white supremacy is got to be put in the past and in the trash can where it belongs. We are all human beings, and when you cut your arm, what color do you bleed? You're going to bleed the same color, no matter what nationality, ethnicity, creed, or religion. We're all human beings, and until we can realize that we have got to truly live what we preach, and that is treat our neighbors as we want to be treated, then our society is not going to get better. But racism isn't just as blatant as the Ku Klux Klan. We also have to check our individual thoughts and check ourselves and what we say and how we treat one another. Are we for inclusion? Are we for diversity? Is the black guy at work referred to as the black guy at work? Or is he just the guy from work? Little things like that. We really have to take a look on the inside and analyze ourselves, because it may not be as blatant as someone carrying a Nazi flag or a rebel flag, which both of those flags, anyone who's carrying them, in my opinion, is treason. But so thank you for putting this together. Freeholder Seat, both Freeholder Gill. Freeholders? Freeholder Bobadilla?
Thank you, Madam President. I think there's no doubt, if you look at my Facebook page, on where I stand about the fate of our country now and how I look at it on the national scale. And time and time again, I come to the same conclusion. We have somebody who's unfit and unqualified has nothing to do with partisan politics, folks. This is about somebody's moral and ethical fiber that doesn't exist. You know, I question where we are every day, because so many people were worried about, you know, the nuclear, you know, dialogue with North Korea. But make no mistake about it, we don't need that. We're already in a very dark place. I have never seen the United States of America as divisive and divided as it is now. And I think that's because of his lack of leadership and his lack of representation for all Americans. And, you know, it's a sad state. It really is. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholders. Okay, hearing none. Do I have a mover? Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. All right. Now, we're going to move to resolution number 1. We're going to read all resolutions going forward into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Madam President, resolution number 1, and Mr. Rother, who's the executive director of the ECIA, and Ms. Gassion, our county council, are here to elaborate. But it is an agreement. It's a resolution authorizing the ECIA to acquire an easement on property in proximity to the Essex County Airport. And again, Mr. Rother and Ms. Gassion are here to explain.
Good evening. Steve Rother, Executive Director of the Essex County Improvement Authority. I'm here this evening in support of the resolution that's before you, which is a resolution that is addressing purely a safety issue at the Essex County Airport. We have a condition on an adjoining property with trees that are penetrating the airspace that is necessary for safe landings at the airport. This is not a situation where we're taking an easement on the ground, or primarily an easement to make safe passage for airplanes that have to land at the airport on runway number 4. And I'm available to answer any questions that you may have in that regard.
Thank you. Mr. Paul Vecchio.
I did have the opportunity, as did some of the freeholders, to sit down with Mr. Rother as well as with County Council and others to discuss this. I think it boils down to a safety issue, as I understand it. And I did learn a new word, navigation easement, which I guess is similar to a navigation easement, but the other direction.
Exactly.
So this is not trying to really impede on any of the lands or the property of the people. It's really treetops and things that impede the safety of those aircraft that utilize the county's airport. So I think it really should be looked at as in the need and in the scope of safety first, and something that obviously would impact the future use of the county's airport.
Yeah, and just one other point, the state of New Jersey, and I think you have copies of that letter, has indicated the importance of the safety and the need to remove those trees that penetrate that airspace.
Freeholder Steve.
Thank you. Steve, am I correct? This is a condemnation proceeding.
This is, yes, yes.
What does that mean?
It means that we will own the right in the air to maintain that space open and clear for aircraft that have to land on runway 4.
Does that mean this will go to court with the country club, and they will have to agree?
They may agree without us having to actually go to court. This is simply the means to an end in case we can't negotiate.
But they haven't been willing to agree
Up until now, it's been several years. Yes, we've tried, and we haven't been able to get to a conclusion.
So
yes.
this might make them agree to do it?
Exactly.
And if they don't agree, then what happens?
Then we would have to litigate it, yes.
At Freeholder, part of this process is establishing a fair price for this. So this is, a lot of times it's called a taking, but it's not a taking without just compensation.
Oh, certainly. Absolutely.
Right, and so that's important to know. Sometimes the nomenclature doesn't really suggest or suggest something different than what the reality is. So there is a fair price that is hopefully negotiated, and that's part of it. That's mandated that real negotiations are conducted. And if that breaks down, then there are people who are assigned by the court to evaluate this and put a proper and fair price on it.
If I remember correctly, they were offered money but refused. Is that correct?
Well, the terms couldn't be agreed upon, yes. There was a significant amount of money put on the table. Yes, yes. The reason, one of the primary reasons is we need to have this right in perpetuity. We can't pay a large sum of money, have a few branches removed, and 20 years later be faced with the same problem.
So this might resolve the entire problem.
Oh, it certainly is hopeful that it will, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Freeholders, Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. For those of you that don't know, Essex County Airport is located in Fairfield. Fairfield is part of Essex County District 4, which I have had the pleasure of representing for over 6 years. I want to thank Mr. Rother for 2 meetings we had, one in the county executive's office and one actually out at the Essex County Airport, along with our county executive, our county administrator Jackson, County Council Gassion, Freeholder President Timberlake was also present, along with myself. We even invited the mayors of Caldwell, West Caldwell, North Caldwell, and Fairfield to attend, to explain to them that while, condemnation is a real caustic word and is usually the last thing government leaders want to resort in, this is a necessity and it is a safety hazard. We also put on the table that we've had 2 plane crashes within the last couple of years out at the West Essex Airport, and if these trees continue to grow to the height that they're at, there's the potential of possibility of having more plane crashes, and we do not want to see that. Not the folks that are using our airport, and surely not to affect any of the folks that live in the surrounding areas or the businesses. So as the district freeholder, I will make the motion to sponsor this resolution. And again, I just want to thank Mr. Rother, the county executive, and for everyone who took the time to set up those meetings and to spell out the severity of making sure that we get this done and get it done relatively fast. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Freeholder Luciano. Freeholders, Freeholder Jones.
I'm making a statement because I met in the county executive's office about those trees, but the only conclusion I came to, those trees have been there for years, but now since our president is from New York and you have a lot of rich people coming in, that they cannot land their airplanes because of the height of the trees. So I'm just saying, why all of a sudden now it's so dangerous, but I think it's for personal reasons that these people with these regular jets or whatever it is, because I don't have a plane, I don't even have a bicycle, but I was just concerned as why it's so dangerous now, and I suppose it, but why is it so dangerous now? But I just see the times has changed, more high rollers are coming in. So we have to make sure they can land those big planes. So I don't know, you can justify.
Sure.
That was my concern when I came out of the meeting and you did a presentation.
Well, I may have misled you, but the types of planes haven't changed, but the trees have continued to grow, and that's the problem. There are no different planes landing, it's just the trees have grown up into the space that the planes over all these years have been traveling through.
Freeholder Toro.
Yeah, I just want to say on the record, to your point, Freeholder, I served as a commissioner of the County Government Authority back in 2011 to 2014, and I remember seeing the issue then. So it's been going on for a while.
what you said, and I want everybody to be safe. It's nothing against me. Maybe one day when I get a big plane, when I landed on the field. So thank you.
Again,
I'm finished.
Freeholder Luciano?
thank you, Madam President, through you to Freeholder Jones. Point well taken and very valid. And this is something that I had in discussion in length about, is that, yes, there are certain aircraft that there are more of now that there wasn't 10 years ago. But that doesn't mean that taking these trees down still wasn't a necessity. And that was something that was showed and proven to me time and time again by Mr. Rother. Because yes, my misconception was we're just mowing down these trees so bigger aircraft can come in. Technically speaking, at Essex County Airport, we have more than one runway. So on one of the runways, the other aircraft could land anyway. This just makes 2 runways, especially in case of an emergency, that those type of aircraft can land.
And wind direction, because there are times where the direction wind won't allow the other runway to be used. There's not
Yes.
Freeholders? Okay, for me, this is very black and white, all right? We have to make sure that people who are flying into our airport are safe. The trees are too high, all right? They're in the flight path, okay? We're not going to be changing or trying to attract larger planes. We're not doing anything like that. This is simply that the trees grew too high and they are now in the flight path. Now what happens, you can ask my nieces who started the meeting, what would happen if trees were in the way of a flight path, and they would tell you, well, the plane would probably crash. It's very simple. So it's unfortunate that the trees are on the golf course, but they need to make sure that the trees are not in way of where the planes need proper clearance. You know what? That may change. I don't know if that will change the way in which they experience their golf or not, but quite frankly, my concern lies with preventing people from losing their life as far as plane crashes. So are there any other questions, Freeholder Luciano?
Just one more comment too, Madam President, just for Freeholder Jones and for everyone else here. One of our colleagues who is not here tonight did take a flight up and look at it. And he told us, Freeholder Richardson, that that's not why he's not here, but he, well, that's why, for the general public, that's why I didn't take the flight, because it would have never returned, likely. But yes, Freeholder Richardson did brave the flight. He went up with a seasoned pilot who took a look at the trees. He came back, he had called me and we talked about it, and he said, what they showed me in the air is exactly what, you know, they were telling us on the ground. So while I wasn't there, I just wanted to put on record and thank our colleague for taking that flight and taking a look and making sure that, you know, everyone here is being honest. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Freeholder Siebel.
Yeah, one thing wasn't mentioned. That is, if nothing is done, we will lose that. We will lose that runway.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
If nothing is done, we lose a runway.
Yeah.
And the airport
That's
is a
important.
rateable,
And
which brings in income. I'm sorry,
And it's
Pat.
important.
Yes.
For the sake of that airport,
Yes.
that we don't lose that runway.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Because the airport is a rateable, brings in income to the county. Income to the county means, you know, more stable taxes. So we like ratables, right?
And,
all right.
And employment as well.
And employment, absolutely. Is there and learning opportunities? They train and,
Yes,
and
yes.
yes, it's very nice. Is there a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Luciano. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Siebold. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson absent. Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake?
Yes.
So moved.
All right.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's jump to Resolution 13. Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam President. This is through our Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. It's relative to the approving the community-based deer management plan and permit application. And Mr. Bernier and Tara Casella are here to answer your questions.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to receive and/or read the report on the 2017 deer management program. We had a successful year in terms of the number of deer removed in relatively a short number of days, but the spotlight counts conducted in April of 2017 show that the number of deer that are still out there is significant. A recent report by Dr. Michael Van Cleef on the forest health shows that the health of the forest at South Mountain is improving, but that in order to meet the goals for reducing deer browse and providing for forest regeneration, that deer management does need to continue, and we have put forth the parameters for that in the program guidelines that are before you tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Freeholder Luciana.
I don't have any questions, but I do have some comments as the chair of the Deer Management Committee.
Very important.
I have sat on that committee for the last, actually this is the 7th time, believe it or not. I first came into office in 2011. And I can tell you, and I want to make mention of this on general public on TV, that to me this is one of the most sensitive issues to all of our residents. Government leaders do not like to participate in such a, and I want to say this because I know we have a lot of animal folks here tonight, in such a manner, a process, and a procedure where we have to cull the herd. But I know Mr. Dan Bernier very well over these last 7 years. I have seen their operation firsthand. I have actually been there during the hunt. I know that they use the culled deer, the carcasses, and the meat for the food bank, amongst other things. They even have folks from the state of New Jersey Wildlife come in where they examine the deer, take blood samples, check to see if they were, pregnant, not pregnant. So there's a lot of things that are moving around what we do. In a perfect world, I wish this would go away, but it's not. And we all live in Essex County, and even the folks that have representation here in some of the cities like Newark have seen that the deer population has moved. It is not just swallowing up West and North Essex, but it has moved into places like Irvington and Newark. And so I do have to say on record that I support this. I don't necessarily know how the rest of my colleagues feel because I do know the sensitivity of this issue. But I do know Mr. Bernier comes with a lot of experience. I have seen his operation. And again, for the 7th time, I sit here today saying I will support you, and I do appreciate your reports and the county executive and the 2 folks that were here from the different reservations. I think we had the Hilltop
South Mountain Conservancy
and South
Hilltop
Mountain.
Conservancy.
I know that they have come every year too in support of our undercarriage and our vegetation, which has been suffering because, let's face it, a lot of folks around Essex County don't hunt anymore, and we don't have the predators that used to be around here years ago, like bears and coyotes and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to put all that on the record because I do get the emails on both sides of the aisle. And I've been doing it for years, and I just want to thank you and to everyone on this board. Again, I wish there was another solution, and if you can come to some kind of other resolution, I would love, and I'm sure even Mr. Bernier and the county administration would love to sit down and figure it out. But as at the moment, this is our only alternative. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Thank you. I understand that this is only for the permit application.
That's right.
Correct?
Yes.
What you are voting on tonight is
Yes.
authorizing the preparation of the permit application and
When
approval
will
of
the
the
actual
program guidelines.
process begin?
When would the actual hunting begin?
Yeah.
It would be the same time frame as it's been in past years. It would be conducted on Tuesdays and Thursdays in January and February.
January and February?
There are some rain dates in there as well, which if the rain dates were needed, it would take it to March 1st.
And this is strictly for the permit application, correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Freeholders? Freeholder Bobadilla?
If you can just clarify, because I think it's not just the permit, correct? It's the permit is the actual permission to execute the program, correct?
I'm not sure if I understand the question. What you're,
Well, when we authorized the permit, that means you could go ahead with the start of the hunt in January and February, correct? Or is there another process in between?
I believe the resolution tonight is approving the program guidelines, which are the actual details of how the program is conducted, and authorizing the administration to have me prepare the permit application and submit it to the state, and then,
Okay,
yes, the
clarifies
program
a
would
little
move
bit.
forward.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay. Freeholders? All right, well, each year my vote is the same. My colleagues think it's funny. But no, you know what it is? It's just that I don't like euphemisms like remove. We're going to remove the deer. You're going to kill the deer. You know, that's what's really about to happen through a hunt. And it's for population control. And I like the picture that was shown about the meadow and everything like that. But the truth is we keep building into, and we keep building across and we keep building up. And it really leaves limited space for animal life to actually be there. But I do agree that the deer do need to be managed because you have situations such as car accidents that happen, which, as I stated regarding the airport situation, public safety has to be number one, and I would hate to see fatalities. I just disagree with this method. I know that there are other methods out there. You know, talk to the cat people about neuter and release. That's a joke. No, but in all seriousness, I know that there are other methods such as birth control for deer and different things like that. Wherever you stand on that about how its effectiveness and so on and so forth, that's fine, and that's, you know, your opinion. But as far as mine, I just think that we can find a more humane way to control the population. So, is there a mover and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Seabolt.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Luciano. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson absent. Freeholder Seabold?
Yes.
Freeholder Toro?
President, I'm voting.
And Freeholder President Timberlake.
No. All right. So moved. At this point in time, I am going to ask Freeholder Patricia Seabold to resume the meeting. Freeholder Seabold?
Why?
I am asking that you just continue to uphold not reading into the record currently, but at a later date, and that there are some items that are up for a collective vote in which Mr. Freeholder Counsel Paula Vecchio, as well as Madam Deputy Clerk Debbie Marvel, can certainly be helpful with. Thank you, colleagues.
So we will continue now with item number 2, and I'll ask the county administrator to please explain number 2.
Yes, Madam President, the item 2 is a contract with Chezias, Shemaine, and Giantomasi regarding a real estate transaction, and County Counsel Gassion is here to explain.
County counsel?
Good evening, Courtney Gassion, Essex County Council. As indicated by the county administrator, this is a resolution seeking the approval for a professional services agreement for the law firm of Chiesa, Shaninen, and John Tomasi for the period of August 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017, in an amount not to exceed $75,000. We are seeking the representation of this firm for the potential real estate transaction. The county is seeking to purchase a property located at 320 and 321. They're contiguous properties in the city of Newark for the use by the county of Essex. We are seeking to use the firm for both the negotiation of this purchase and to move the county through the entire real estate transaction through its conclusion.
Thank you. Mr. Provecchio, do you have any comments or questions?
Just a question, Ms. Cassione. This is an arm's length transaction negotiation at this point?
It is.
This isn't any type of eminent domain proceeding?
It is not.
Thank you.
Freeholders, do you have any questions or any comments? I do have one question. I understand where this property is located. What is it going to be used for?
The anticipation that's going to be used for various existing office space that exists throughout the county, many of our satellite locations, meaning not within the court complex. The county is looking to consolidate many of our administrative offices and bring them back into the court complex. So without getting into the detail of which offices we'd be consolidating, the idea is that we would actually be bringing some outside locations back into the city of Newark and moving them into a building, these buildings which are located directly across from the historic courthouse.
So in other words, buildings that we're using throughout the county will be consolidated into this area?
That's correct.
I understand. Thank you very much. Are we voting on the resolutions later? You can do them afterwards. All right, we can take all of the resolutions at once at the end. All right, then I'll move on then to number 3.
Madam President,
Mr. Jackson?
This is a contract award to Remington and Vernick to provide for district mapping for elections, Board of Elections. And Mr. Zielinski, Kevin Zielinski is here from the firm to answer your questions and give you more detail.
Good evening.
State your name.
My name is Kevin Zielinski. I'm the CAD GIS manager for Remington and Vernick Engineers and its affiliates.
Thank you.
Been with the firm for 30 years and serving boards of elections since 1990.
Could you explain what you're going to do?
Basically, every 10 years, as everybody knows, there's a decennial census taken, which is based on population. Based on that, wards are impacted, which have to be re-examined every 10 years. As you know, there are 9 warded towns in Essex County. Remaining 13 are election districts. By Title 40, per the statutes, you can't have a disparity greater than 10% between any 2 wards. So what we do is, working with Linda Von Esse, I've been working with the Essex County Board of Elections since 2010 census, actually. We review that. By definition, any ward that's beyond a 10% disparity needs to be looked at against the census blocks. We look not to disenfranchise any voters. We look at the census blocks, keeping the wards in compact and contiguous formation. Once that is developed, an address range report is then produced to see what voters may be moved from one ward to the other. Once that's approved by the ward commission, then election districts are looked at. By definition, election districts, any 2 general elections that have less than 250 or greater than 1,250 voters that turn out, you need to look at either subdividing or increasing election districts within those wards, which of course are based on active voters, whereas the census is based on population. So working with Linda again and the Board of Elections, we look at, again, compactness, contiguousness, polling places, natural man-made features, as far as possibly rewarding, and then, of course, the impacted districts that may happen. Again, this happens probably for a 2 to 3 year period around each census. So what the Board of Elections, the Essex County Board of Elections is doing is preparing for the 2020 census.
Thank you very much. I'm very familiar with the process because I was on the Board of Elections and we had to go through the exact same process, and I worked very closely with Linda Von Essie, so I know how much work that takes. It really does. It's a big process.
Every 10 years it spikes.
Exactly, exactly. Mr. Parlavecchio, do you have any questions? Freeholders? Ms. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes, I would like to say for the record, when you do these redistricting maps.
I'm sorry, sir?
Your redistricting maps that you do. How do you come up with, you said you come up with the number 10% or what have you, but as we all know, when we get those sheets, half or a quarter of those people don't even live at those addresses. So how are you getting your numbers to say that that's 10% redistricting area?
Well, what we do is, based on the census, there's census blocks. There's census tracts and census blocks. We'll take those census and from the working closely with the U.S. Census Bureau, we'll get those census blocks. We'll total up those numbers. We also verify it against a voter list and a street list. So we don't just use a singular source. We'll cross-compare it between other sources. But the final source that we do have to rely on is the U.S. Census collected information, and then we compare it to what it was 10 years ago. We also compare it to anything that had moved from the last redistricting that may have happened. We also check it against postmaster records. So, as the Freeholder Seabold said, there are a lot of sources of information that we utilize to put that together.
So in essence, we've got to do some homework ourselves, the county, to make sure that our statistics are correct.
I was just contacted by Jim Volkrell. He's the administrator for Middlesex County Board of Elections. And he actually contacted me. I serve 11 county boards of election within the state, by the way. He said the state has one document, our Board of Elections has another document, and a local municipalities has a third. So we'll be contacted to cross-compare that information. And one of the things that we do prepare at the firm is working with tax assessors and putting together, using tax assessment records. We'll utilize that information. So we'll say, okay, we know what this list says, but we also verify what the local list says. So we'll come up with that information. And a lot of times we'll contact them and say, look, you might have some information off. And I'm talking about working with Bob Giles up at the State Division of Elections, letting him know his numbers may be skewed a little bit.
Well, we have 2 more years before God well, 3 because it takes time.
Right now, what Linda's doing and the Essex County Board of Elections is they're preparing. They're starting to formulate the census collectors now, 2017. They're going to start mobilizing within the next 2 years. And generally, you can start redistricting in 2018 to prepare for that, because the ward commissions will be formed. And then probably 2020, 2021 is where one pushes the other. Then you've got congressional, legislative. So one thing impacts the other, impacts the other. Yes, sir.
Through you, Pat. So this contract is just for municipal work, or are you also looking at the county boards?
No, this is for freehold wards and election districts.
So not municipal.
Sorry?
No. Not municipal. This is just county freehold wards.
No, this would be.
Or this is my question. My question is.
This is county election districts, wards, and freeholders. Yes.
No municipal work. There aren't wards on the county level. You just have districts. So my question is this contract, when you're talking about the census, you understand what I'm trying to say? It's just the county. You're not doing anything for the municipality.
I understand your question.
You understand my question?
Yes. I would be working for the Essex County Board of Elections.
Correct.
At the county level.
But you're doing engineer work just for the county seats or for the local municipal seats?
No, we're doing work for the county that involves its 22 municipalities. But I'm not working directly for the municipality, for the county.
did this with the election board. We worked on the, not so much the Senate, but Congress and the state legislature and the freeholders. That's as far as it went. Is that correct?
Right, but if there's election districts that need to be adjusted based
Right.
on population.
Exactly.
That would be, but it's driven through the county.
So
board of
wards
elections.
in Newark and Belleville, are you going to be looking at? Does this contract cover that? Or not?
This contract, right
When I
now, the
say
way the
wards, I
contract.
mean for those municipal offices. Is this engineer work, maybe I'll defer to Robert, Mayor Jackson.
No.
Could you explain?
I think
I think you know what I'm talking about, because you have wards in your own county.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
think-
looking at your town as well, or is this just county seats?
I think what they're asking for is if your contract obviously is with the Board of Elections, the County Board of Elections, but you're going to be looking at districts within municipalities to see if they meet the criteria of the 10% plus or minus as well.
If directed by the board.
Yes.
We would look at that.
It's everything?
Yes.
Okay, that was the question, I'm sorry if it was not.
It's not directly for the town, it's always through the Board of Elections. And I gave Mr. Fernicoli some additional information.
Yes, we have.
That might better explain a lot of what we do.
Thank you.
It's a not to exceed based on the impacted municipalities per the direction of the commission.
All right, freeholders, are there any more questions? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll vote on that resolution later on. And we'll move to resolution number 4.
Madam President, this is a contract with Reliance Learning for an amount not to exceed $74,000. This is a publicly open, fair and open RFP. We received 2 responses. This is providing ongoing support for e-learning curricular at the hospital center. E-learning is becoming the state of the art, if you will, for staff to learn and to get necessary accreditation. Most healthcare facilities are actually using this now. Each course comes with video instruction and an exam. In addition to that, Reliance provides education credits for doctors, nurses, and social work staff as part of their credentialing.
Mr. Parlavecchio? Is there anyone here who can address us about this?
Generally speaking, Madam President, because it's under 100,000, we don't have the vendor here.
Fine, thank you very much. Freeholders, are there any questions? No questions, then we'll move to resolution number 5.
Again, for our Department of Health and Rehabilitation, this is sub-grant agreements with 8 service providers, and Dr. Scarpelli is here to elaborate.
Good evening, freeholders. Good to be here. This is Joe Scarpelli. I'm the Mental Health Administrator for the County of Essex. This is a grant through the Department of Children and Families of the state of New Jersey, and it was through a competitive contract, and we have the service providers here tonight for the grantees if you would like to hear from them.
Can you call them up?
Sure. First, I'll bring up Family Connections, Jock Harisco. He'll give you a brief overview of his agency and the program.
Very good, thank you very much. Please state your name and your agency.
Hello, my name is Jacques Harisco, Executive Director of Family Connections, providing mental health and substance abuse and prevention services throughout Essex County. This funding through this grant will allow us to provide mental health services for children up to the age of 17 who have experienced multiple traumas in their lives. Family Connections is very proud to have invested heavily in the most current state-of-the-art evidence-based trauma treatment services, and this will be provided through this program.
Thank you very much. Freeholders, do you have any questions about Family Connections before we move on? All right, if not, next.
Next is Main Street Counseling, Executive Director Steve Margiotis.
Good
Good evening, Freeholder Board. My name is Steve Margiotis. I'm founder and executive director of Main Street Counseling Center. You guys were incredibly generous last year with our grant. What we plan to do with our grant this year is to continue our school-based counseling program in Newark. We're partnering now with 8 schools and providing mental health services from preschools to elementary age schools to several high schools. Our plan is to have 2 bilingual social workers provide sessions right into school. And as we go on 4 decades now, we just want to continue this program and enhance mental health services in the city of Newark.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is Emmanuel Garcia from Family Service Bureau of Newark.
Good evening. My name is Manuela Garcia. I'm the Executive Director of the Family Service Bureau of Newark. Family Service Bureau has several services: mental health, domestic violence, substance abuse, and we serve a lot of children in the county of Essex with DIFAS, DCP&P. We're proud to have this grant for the last 3 years, and it was very generous to get this award again. We work with both the children in Essex County and the grandparents and parents of children to help with prevention, intervention, and education. And we provide them live webinar-based via the Drug Network of Organization, and give them a pamphlet and homework so they understand what to look for, especially with a lot of grandparents in this county raising their children. So one of the things we will do is continue to do that. We do that in the schools, we do that in the transitional housing shelters. We do it wherever we are needed. So we provide up to 12 to 18 weeks of education to the youth and to the family. We were targeted in boys ages 8 to 17, but now girls on a rise. As you know, the drug epidemic is very big in Essex County, and we hope to continue to sustain this throughout the next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Rose Zeltzer from Children's Aid and Family Services.
Hello. I'm Rose Zeltzer, and I'm the Senior Vice President at Children's Aid and Family Services. First of all, I want to thank you for your generous support and consistent support of our agency. We've been in the county for over 100 years, and we provide services to all of the children in our WISE program in all of the municipalities throughout the county. Our program, WISE, provides services to children who sexually act out on other children. Research shows that 30% of sexual assault on children happens at the hands of other children. So this is a program that takes a treatment approach rather than a judicial system approach. It's highly effective. The research also shows that if you intervene with children, and our program serves kids from 8 to 15 years old, most of the kids who we see are males between the ages of 11 and 14. The reality is when you provide the treatment to the children and their caretakers at the same time, we receive a significant outcome of 98% success rate where these kids do not reoffend. We have a recidivism rate of less than 2%. It is a very highly effective program, and this year we actually expanded to provide services to children with developmental disabilities who have not offended, but it's more of an issue of prevention, trying to teach those kids appropriate sexual boundaries and sexual behavior. We appreciate all of your support over the years, and we really do thank you. Thank you.
Next up is Hope Center and the Executive Director, Sue Seidenfeld.
Good evening, everybody, and I also want to thank you for your support. This year, we're really excited to take a program that has been developed through funding through the county to do parenting kinds of services both on a website format as well as in actual on-site programs all around. I brought some copies, they're flipped, I don't know if I give them to you, of what's coming up. What we're doing with this grant this year is we're expanding based on the feedback that we've gotten, and we are increasing the specificity of the developmental age groups of the parents that we're working with. And one of the groups that we're really excited to be working with is the preschool parents from Head Start in Orange, Montclair, and Montclair. And this was at their request. They came to some of the parenting workshops and basically told us, we'd really like to have something that we can work with our 2, 3, and 4-year-olds. And we just completed a multifamily program with the parents and the children of launching their children into kindergarten over the summer, and now the parents are asking to continue the support. So we're very grateful for the funds to be able to provide that service to the parents at their request. The other thing that we're going to be using this funding for is to continue to expand the website, which is really getting, over the past year, we've had over 1,100 hits of users who have come to the website. It's countywide. It has articles, information, and then lists of resources, and a county calendar where we put anything that somebody tells us, including events that are happening at the zoo and at county parks. If it's a family-related event, we put it up on the calendar, and we really encourage people to send us information. Part of the expansion this year is that we're going to take some of the workshops that people were unable to attend and also make them more available to people who just really can't come out for whatever reason, and we're making them into podcasts. We have them in English, we're going to have them in Spanish. We already have the articles and other information in Spanish, and we're also looking to increase into providing the same services in Haitian Creole. So I really thank you for your support, and
Thank you very much.
any questions?
Helen?
Next up is New Community Corporation and Edward Morris.
Good evening, Edward Morris, Director of Youth Services for New Community Corporation. New Community has been providing services and housing to inner city residents for 50 years. The program we're seeking funding for is an after-school program for students in our transitional housing shelter. Students' families come in to into the shelter, and they're placed in a unit for a period of 6 months to a year. The students will come to the program after school. We provide them with mental health services, academic services, and also counseling for them and their families. Parents will also receive parent workshops on domestic violence, conflict resolution, how to deal with stressful situations, and also financial literacy. The program is set to start in September, and we appreciate you considering for this funding. Thank you.
Last but not least, Catholic Charities and Elizabeth Clendon.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth McClendon, and I'm the Associate Executive Director for Catholic Charities for the Archdiocese of Newark. I want to say thank you very much for your funding sources, and that the program that you're going to be funding for us is a therapeutic school-based program for at-risk youth. The program will provide them with processing skills and how to deal with issues in problem solving, and also how to deal with confronting bullying, and also doing parenting with the parents' permission to go into the homes or to come into the center in order to help them to deal with these issues within the Irvington school area. Thank you very much.
Freeholder Sebald, these programs really make a big difference in the community with at-risk children. And I would like to thank Laura Mattia from my office, who does the majority of work on the kayak grant and these grants. So, Freeholders, if you have any questions.
Mr. Pralovecchio.
No questions.
Freeholders. Freeholder Toro.
I'd just like to take this opportunity to express a sincere thank you to all the agencies that presented for the work that you do. It's special in my heart, and truly I believe that, I know, being that I am in the field as well, that it makes a huge difference to families, individuals, the at-risk youth, and in our community. So again, thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you, Freeholder Toro.
And thank you very much. And certainly as a former teacher for 30 years, I understand how important the mental health is for children, since I dealt with kids every single day. And all of these agencies do such wonderful work, and I'm really proud that Essex County is supporting them. Before we conclude, I do have one question, though. I see that there are 7 agencies listed, yet the resolution, Mr. Jackson
Seven
says
agencies, but 8 programs.
8 programs, but 7 agencies. I understand. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
and thanks
Freeholders.
for all your great work.
Thank you.
Next, we move on to resolution number 6.
Yes, Madam President. This is a one-year contract extension option with Metuchen Center, Inc. to provide sports equipment, games, and recreational supplies through our Department of Corrections. 4 bids were received from 38 potential vendors, and the prevailing bid was Metuchen Center Incorporated, and an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Mr. Pralovecchio?
Yes, this was originally led as a bid and awarded in 2015 as a 2-year contract. The 1-year option that was included in that bid.
Freeholders, do you have any questions? None? Then we'll move to resolution number 7.
Madam President, this is a budget insertion from the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, and Joyce Maurer is here to give you more information. If you would like, Madam President, Joyce can also address items. We've withdrawn number 8, and Joyce can also do 9 and 10, if you so.
If you would, you can take all the budget insertions, please. And I know that number 8 has been withdrawn by the administration. So that means you'll take 7, 9, 10, and 11.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Freeholders. My name is Joyce Maurer, and I'm here on behalf of our acting director, Sue Ortiz-Hands. This budget insertion is our yearly budget from the Governor's Council on Alcohol and Addictions. This money goes toward funding 20 of our 22 municipalities for alcohol and drug prevention and events. Each of the municipalities decides with their own committees what they think will serve their communities the best. And this year, our total budget was reduced by 1% to the municipalities, but with the wish to have a push toward more countywide services. Sorry. Last time I was here, I mentioned some of the countywide efforts. Because of the epidemic of opioid abuse and heroin overdose, they have done a wonderful job with spearheading the Knockout Opiate campaign. They do wonderful work both with awareness of children, but also bringing families together to increase communication between children and parents, and help the conversation flow more easily between them to reduce drug abuse. I know that Freeholder Sebald, you had a couple of questions, but I think they would be better addressed attached to number 8. at a later point when we really discuss more in depth the contracts with each municipality, if that would be acceptable.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Jackson,
Yes.
number 7.
7 she just covered.
That was 7. Oh, that was 7, I'm sorry.
8 we pulled, and Joyce can also do number 9 and 10.
Number 9 and 10, right. And 11.
No, just number 9 and 10.
Just 9 and 10? All right. No problem, go ahead.
Okay. Number 9 is our annual insertion from the State of New Jersey Department of Health for our special child and early intervention health services. And number 10, in tandem, is our insertion for the special child health services case management. These are two components of our special child health services, which serves children with special needs that need special support, speech therapy, other a huge range of services, some preschool and some in school. I have with me tonight 2 coordinators of each component to answer any questions you may have on 9 and 10 about the specific services that they give to our children in Essex County. So I'd like to introduce Anna Quinones and Deborah Massey. And if you have any questions about the special services we give for early intervention or case management, they're here.
All right, do you have one more to do?
No.
Or is that it? Then if you have them come up and we'll see if the freeholders have any questions.
Okay.
All right. All right. Mr. Parlavecchio?
I don't have any questions on these insertions.
All right, freeholders, do you have any questions for those who are at the microphone? No questions? All right, you're off easy. Thank you very much. We're going to continue with resolution number 11 and number 12. Both resolutions have to do with Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. So, Mr. Jackson, if you will continue with resolution number 11, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 11 is a simple budget insertion. We received $150,000 from the Zoological Society of New Jersey, and these monies will be used for goods and services for Turtleback Zoo, food for animals, transportation for animals, meds, and pharmacy services for the animals as well. Item 12, Jan Zentek and Tara Casella are here from Parks to address this one, but it's a contract with Rutgers Cooperative Extension.
All right, number 11, insertion of funds from the Zoological Society. Mr. Parlavecchio, do you have any questions?
I don't. No.
Freeholders, any questions about number 11?
Nope.
All right, number 12, you said that Jan Zentek was here, and Tara,
yes.
but Tara had to leave.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All right, Jan?
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Jan Ventek. I'm the Senior Program Coordinator in Agriculture and Natural Resources for Essex County's Rutgers Cooperative Extension. I've been working in Essex County now 16 and a half years. I run the Master Gardener Program, and with Extension also supports 4-H, and I've been working closely with our new 4-H agent, Marissa Plotnick, and we have an environmental agent, Ms. Amy Rowe. We work with volunteers in environmental education, support veterans training here in Essex County, work in community gardens. We've been very active in Branch Brook Park and Brookdale Park, in tree maintenance, restoration and maintenance in Branch Brook Park, collaborating with the Branch Brook Park Alliance. And we also provide to our family and community health sciences, nutrition education to SNAP Ed recipients. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer.
Mr. Parlavecchio, do you have any questions? I would tell all of you that I've known Jan for probably 16 years, and he does a marvelous, marvelous job here in Essex County. And he also serves on the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board, and we meet all the time, so he's a great asset to Essex County. And I'm sorry that we didn't put you on sooner because you've got far to travel. Freeholders, you have any questions? He really does a terrific job, and we're lucky that he works for the county through Rutgers. So thank you so much. All right, thanks. All right, now we'll move to 14, 15, and 16. 17 also, all dealing with economic development, training and employment, etc.
Yes, Madam President. Michael Vieira is here to answer your question on all of these items from our Department of Economic Development Training. What did you say?
Thank you, Acting President Seabold. Freeholders, Michael Vieira, Director of Special Transportation Services. Basically, the first three resolutions today are adding time to an existing contract in order for us to prepare a new competitive contracting proposal that will be coming out. I know that for the wave, I will be here on September 16th, according to Mr. Fernicola, and with that contract we'll be on. So basically, these are just adding some time to the existing contracts.
Are you referring to all?
Referring to 14, 15, 16, and 17 is just a county budget insertion for monies.
Okay. Mr. Prolovecchio, do you have any?
Just to reiterate what Mr. Vieira said, these are in the process of new procurement, so we're just extending the existing contracts.
Correct.
Freeholders? I would just like to state that Mr. Vieira does a wonderful job in transportation for the county, and if you look at number 16, we have the Meadowlands Transportation Corporation, the DBA Meadowlink for Wave shuttle service. He provides transportation for people to get to work through various places throughout the county, and he does a great job in this area, so thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, budget insertions, number 18, 19, and 20.
And 21.
All public works, sorry.
18, I will handle. Mr. Coltrane will do 19 through 21, Madam President, with your permission. I'm sorry? Yes, I will do number 18, and Mr. Coltrane will do 19, 20, and 21 with your permission.
Certainly.
Thank you. 18 is another budget insertion which we received from the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, and it's to provide support for our sub-regional transportation planning program. It consists of a grant of $132,966 and an in-kind match from us of 20% on $33,241, and again to support transportation planning activities.
Any questions before we continue with Mr. Coulter?
Not on the insertion.
Deputy County Administrator Julius Coulter, I'm number 19, Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet. This is a bid that went out, 3 bidders at a 20, and it's a 6-month contract. We've now separated collision bid right now in East and West. The East region is by Lembo Car and Truck Collision, and the West region is DeFalco Towing, a new vendor, which is a woman-owned business, and the reason it's 6 months is hopefully in the near future we will go out as part of the Set-Aside program. This way, at least, we're giving various regions and various minorities and women-owned, veteran-owned businesses an opportunity to bid on the various items that we go out to bid.
Thank you.
Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet. We went out to bid for batteries for various fleet vehicles. There were 7 bids received. This is an open-end, as-needed contract, and when various fleet items will come up, they will go out and spend the appropriate funds for that particular battery. Number 21 is the Department of Administration and Finance. We are auctioning off 4 decommissioned vehicles, a 1998 Infiniti, 2011 Ford, 1999 Dodge Van, and a 2002 Chevy CT. They will be auctioned. If they're not auctioned, they will be used for scrap, which will also bring revenue to the county.
Thank you. Mr. Prolavecchio.
I don't have any questions on these.
Freeholders, do you have any questions? If not, we'll move on to 22 and 23. Both items deal with the corrective action plan, the audit, and accepting the audit. Mr.
Yes, Madam President. There is a corrective plan associated with our 2016 audit. There are 2 common areas. One with respect to cash management. There are some checks that we have to cancel, or actually some of them may actually be given to the state of New Jersey because the owner has not cashed them. We will be handling that over the next year. The other item is relating to some quite old receivables from Orange Township, East Orange, and West Orange relating to street lighting sharing agreement. And these charges, some of them go back 20 years. So we will this year, very shortly, we'll be looking to collect those funds. However, we may have to just end up canceling them as part of the because we can't produce or can't get the township to pay for those particular, because again they go back probably 20, 25 years for some of them, and we have to evidence some of the bills, and they don't appear to be available.
You're talking about what's been repeated from the prior year.
I'm sorry.
You're talking about what is being repeated from the prior year.
Yeah, actually, since 2006, we've collected every year since then, but there was a problem with collections, I think, from 1994 through 2006. There were some small amounts that were built up over the years, and because of the records are apparently not available, we may not be able to evidence the bill to the townships. So we will try to do that over the next year. If we're not able to, we may have to cancel those particular receivables.
Any additional comments about item number 20, resolution 23?
Item 22 is just on the part of item 23, excuse me, is just the board accepting our 2016 county. Actually, it's your audit accepting the audit.
Mr. Prolavecchio.
No additional questions.
Freeholders, any questions? I would just like to commend Samuel Klein and Company for doing such a great work for Essex County.
A long time.
Yes. There are no further questions. We now move to item 25 through 30, all commendations, which will be read into the record at a later time. Number 24 was already voted on, so we're doing 25 through 30, correct? Freeholders?
No, 24 was not. 24 was discussed.
Yes, the
and
vote
just not voted on.
It wasn't voted on. No, oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry. Well, I was just saying, I'm dealing with resolutions 25 through 30, and they'll be read at a later time. Are there any freeholders who would like to be added to any of those resolutions? That's what I'm asking. No? If not, then it's time to vote on all the resolutions we did not vote on. So we're going to vote on 2 through 12, 14 through 30, 8 has been withdrawn. So those are the resolutions we have to vote on. Everything else not mentioned has been voted on. 1, 2, 13, 31, and 32 have already been voted on. 1, 13, 31, and 32 have been voted on. So we're voting on 2 through 12, 14 through 30. Is there anyone who would like to remove him or herself for any particular item? You can state that item now. If not, can we have a motion for all of those resolutions?
Move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson, a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Toro. Roll call?
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson absent. Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill absent. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake absent. So moved?
I didn't vote.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, you, oh, I did it. Okay.
If
All
I
right.
voted, if I may, Madam-
I did vote?
If I may, Madam President, I just wanted, for the record, item 8 was not, was excluded. Item 8 was excluded from that vote. I just wanted to.
Yes,
clear that.
she
Yeah.
mentioned that. It was withdrawn.
All right, now we move to report of board committees. Is there any report? Are there any legislative reports? Written communication? Unfinished business? New business? Freeholder comment session. I'm sorry, I skipped public comment session. Anyone from the public would like to speak, please come to the microphone. You have 3 minutes, state your name and affiliation, and we'll listen to what you have to say.
Thank you. Edward Doe, citizens. We have a problem at Weequahic Park. The county has spent enormous monies to refurbish Weequahic Park. In the Hooks baseball field is tearing up. The artificial turf is coming up. Pellets are running off the side, the small pallets that's in it with rain is going to the left, it's going to the center field out, and we have a large area of wastewater that settles in center field, in the stands, and around home plate. They have no bases, they have no home plate. You ever seen a baseball field without a home plate? Without a home plate, they don't have it. And around home plate in the batter's circle, the turf is coming up, apart. It wasn't sealed down. You have to come and examine it in person in order to realize the damage in a brand new field that's due to construction. It was bad. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waddell. Mr. Jackson, will you take into consideration all of his questions about Weequahic Park, and you'll receive an answer in writing within 7 days. Thank you, Mr. Waddell. Thank you. Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? If not, we move to freeholder comments. Any freeholders wishing to speak?
Just have one, please, Madam President.
Freeholder Jackson?
What park was that?
Johnson, sorry.
Which baseball diamond was that they were talking about?
Bill Hicks.
Huh?
This is right.
Yeah.
Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks. Okay.
Freeholders? Are you through?
Yeah.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other comments? If none, then a motion to adjourn.
Move.